Okay, so congratulations. You've got the best firewall in the world, the strongest encryption, and the latest security updates on all of your tools and your technologies. Well done. But then someone in your team shares the wrong documents with the wrong client, or they click on a link that looks legitimate, but it turns out it's anything but. You see, it's not technology that often fails us. And it's not people either. It's actually the awareness, education, and training of people that makes all the difference. That's why ISO 27001 has a whole control dedicated to this topic. Annex A6.3, information security awareness, education, and training. That's 3 topics. And let me tell you, if you can crack this control, you don't just tick a compliance box, you build a culture of resilience. So what's actually required? Well, the standard states that personnel of the organization and relevant interested parties shall receive appropriate information security awareness, education, and training, and regular updates of the organization's information security policy, topic specific policies and procedures as relevant for their job function. Sounds formal, right? But let's break it down. It is really about these 3 things. Awareness, letting people know what exists. Education, explaining why it matters. And then training, showing them how to actually do it. And this isn't just for your employees. Notice that it talks about interested parties. So it's for your contractors, it's for suppliers, it's for customers, even regulators, anyone in your ecosystem who plays a role in keeping information safe. But why is this important? Well, the analogy that we always give within consultants like us is that where we focus purely on technology when it comes to information security, that's a little bit like trying to improve road safety and only making safer cars. Yes, the vehicle is safe. Yes, the vehicle is going to withstand car crashes and accidents and such and theft. But it's the driver, it's the person behind the wheel that ultimately has control, at least for now. In real life, we've seen this play out in many different forms. Let me give you an example. A client we worked with had staff constantly sending sensitive emails to the wrong recipients. Not because they didn't care, but simply because they weren't aware of the procedures. They weren't educated on the risks, and they weren't trained in the simple steps to double check before hitting the send. Once we fixed those 3 pieces, complaints vanished and trust returned to that organization. In another business that we worked with, they had a brand new finance system, but nobody had been trained on the secure way to use it. So guess what? They almost authorized a fraudulent transaction because someone clicked the wrong approval button. A bit of targeted training would have saved hours of panic and potential 6-figure losses. And here's one you might recognize. A HR department had a robust data protection policy, but the new joiners didn't even know it existed. The policy was buried in a folder somewhere or deep inside a induction manual. One induction workshop led by senior leadership changed the whole game. Suddenly, people knew where to find the information and, more importantly, why it mattered. Do you see a pattern? It's about making people aware why information security is important, why the data that comes across their screens or across their desks is vital to the organization and the trust that it has built with its clients. Awareness, education, training, working together turn everyday people into your first and best line of defense. See, consultants like us would never say that people are your weakest link, but people are always the target. And people, myself included, we're fallible. We make mistakes. So you need to make people aware of the rules of the road. They need to understand what your expectations are through topic-specific policies. They need to be aware of how it applies to their particular role. So someone within the marketing team and the way that they access data and they utilize data is going to be completely different to the developers. Equally, it's going to be completely different from the developer's perspective, who have access to code, maybe using AI to review code for errors and such. It's going to be completely different for them as it is for your finance team, who, let's be honest, are going to be probably a key focus for scammers because they're the ones handling the money. So what are auditors going to be looking for with this particular control? Well, again, they're not going to be looking for one particular thing. They're going to be looking for, dare I say, the red thread that goes through your organization and the things that join from awareness to education to training. They're going to want to see things like training records, and they'll want to see an induction process. When do you start talking about information security and data protection? Do you start that at the very beginning of someone's career within your organization and your firm? Or is it just left to team leaders and team managers to remember that they've got to give some form of guidance? They'll want to see that you actually put some time and effort into raising awareness, not just at induction, because hopefully people join your organization and will stay for some considerable time. And if they do, then you can't just simply give them training at the beginning of their career with you. Equally, you shouldn't really just be doing it once a year. This is not like an MOT where you just simply test your people on an annual basis to see if they know where their security policies are. You should have an awareness campaign, and the auditor is going to be wanting to look for that. So that can include anything from quizzes to monthly newsletters, maybe videos from senior leaders in the business, maybe posters around the office. It's up to you, and it has to be applicable and appropriate for your culture. Again, consultants like us are very keen on making sure that whatever awareness campaign is in place is fun. Yes, it can be fun. It's inspiring and it's educational. Inspiring doesn't mean that this is a grandiose thing to inspire to change the world, but it inspires you to take action. And it has to be applicable to your organization. So think about that awareness campaign. If you are a law firm that doesn't allow posters, then posters aren't for you. Maybe a monthly newsletter, maybe a video from the managing partner. Maybe if you're in the finance sector, maybe posters and quizzes and town hall meetings and those types of things is the perfect place for you to raise awareness. And we're talking about awareness on topics like the increase in phishing attacks, for instance, or the latest breaches that may impact upon people, which I'll come back to in a second. Even remember to take a look at your privacy policies on your website. This again is awareness. You're making people aware of how you use their data. Now, I just said a moment ago I would return to a topic about people and such. Now, when we're talking about people, it's about making sure that you don't just talk about your organization. The best way to get people engaged in this topic is to talk about them. Talk about why it's important for them to implement multi-factor authentication on their social media accounts or their bank accounts or their shopping accounts. Because if they can understand why it's important to them, then it's a hop, skip and a jump just to think about why you've implemented it within your organization. If you can impart knowledge and understanding of why it's important for people not to click on links because it may be putting them and their loved ones at risk, then guess what? They're going to understand why it's important for them to be able to scrutinize emails that come into the workplace as well. So make it personal. That's your first action. You see, this is the key secret about this. It's not all about paperwork, because paperwork and technology just won't protect you. What really matters is whether people remember and act on what they've learned. And if you can make it personal, then there is a much more like they are much more likely to remember it and to act upon it. So that's what you need to do. This is a challenge for you. You need to remember that information security is a fascinating topic. Now, you may not believe that's true, but if you've reached this point in these videos, then I'm guessing you've got a vested interest. If you treat it as a necessary evil, if you treat it as this is a boring topic, so let's get through this together, that's exactly what people will pick up on. People will see that. What people need to see is your passion, your interest. If you make it more engaging, if you can show them that it connects to their daily lives, able to spot phishing emails, protecting client trust and families becomes just the same thing. If you can show them that there are ways to avoid losing data by thinking about what they're sending and what they're sharing online, again, you're bringing these topics together and you're bringing it to life. This awareness, education, and training becomes something that is an ongoing process. And for anyone who's yet to be convinced that this is the most exciting topic that there is, I would ask you to go back and take a look at the last few James Bond movies. The James Bond movies that we've just been seeing over the recent 5-10 years have all been around some evil character billionaire wanting to steal our data. Sound familiar? But the point is that all of these things you can draw upon. Look at what these topics pick out. What are they talking about? Be more James Bond. Don't be just thinking about dusty policies in a binder. Think about the Netflix documentaries on cybercrime and scammers. Don't think just like a PowerPoint director. Think like a Netflix film producer. Because security is exciting, and this is the one control, if there was any, that allows you to be more creative. It draws that out of you. It needs you to be more creative and passionate about a topic that you've dedicated much of your life to, perhaps. Just remember, it's about protecting people, reputations, and the future of your business. Make it engaging, make it interesting. Awareness, education, and training, 3 separate topics. I hope that's been useful. There's so much more to this topic. There are some amazing books out there that will help you become a better storyteller and improve your awareness training programs. If you are struggling with this, then just remember that we're here to help. At consultants like us, that's what we do. We bring compliance to life and security to life. It's all about compliance without complexity for us. We help you cut through the boring jargon, help you engage with people, and make sure that controls really become true and come to life. So if this inspired you to do something a little bit different, I'd love to hear it. So please do like this video. Drop me a comment, let me know what your awareness program is going to look like. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell button. That will make sure that you are aware of any of our latest videos. So until next time, thank you ever so much. And I look forward to hearing about what you go out there and create. Have fun. Bye-bye.